A few years after Dr. Sivana's downfall, Hespera and Kalypso, the offspring of Atlas, stumble upon the damaged staff of the Council of Wizards in a Greek museum where it is showcased as a significant relic from the past. In an act of thievery, they seize the staff, with Kalypso manipulating the minds of onlookers and security personnel, compelling them to engage in combat against each other. Subsequently, Hespera utilizes her abilities to transform everyone into stone while they make their getaway. In Philadelphia, Billy, who transforms into his Shazam alter ego, seeks guidance from a local doctor. He expresses his concern about not making a meaningful contribution to the city alongside his fellow superheroes. Meanwhile, at the Vasquez household, Billy's foster siblings have been delving deeper into their individual pursuits. Freddy, in particular, secretly listens to a police scanner and informs Billy about trouble brewing at the Benjamin Franklin Bridge. Billy calls upon the Shazamoli to suit up. They rush to the bridge in their superhero forms only to discover its imminent collapse. Despite successfully rescuing everyone on the bridge, they fail to prevent its total destruction. As a consequence, the heroes are labeled the Philadelphia Fiascos due to their unfavorable reputation within the city. Hespera and Kalypso have returned to the realm of the gods, where they have imprisoned the wizard responsible for granting Billy Batson the powers of Shazam. Accusing the wizard of selfishly using the staff to steal the powers of the gods for himself, Hespera and Kalypso compel him to repair it by invoking the name of the champion. The Shazamoli reconvenes at the Rock of Eternity, which now serves as their superhero headquarters. Billy calls for a meeting to discuss the events of the day. One by one, the siblings depart to attend to their individual tasks, leaving only Mary behind. Mary senses Billy's troubled state. She recognizes that his real concern stems from the fact that he will soon turn 18, and as a result, age out of the foster system. He fears that the family will abandon him, much like his biological parents did. Mary advises him that he is gripping onto them too tightly, which only pushes them further away. At school, Freddy continues to face bullying, primarily at the hands of the Breyer brothers. However, his life takes an exciting turn when he encounters a new girl named Anne, and he is immediately infatuated with her. Determined to shield Anne from the Breyers' advances, he bravely stands up to them, resulting in a beating. Despite this, Anne finds his courage charming and recognizes him as the same kid who was visited by Shazam at school a few years ago. Meanwhile, in the realm of the gods, the wizard employs a fragment from the staff to transmit a message to Billy, who receives it in a dream. The wizard is furious with Billy for breaking the staff and squandering his powers. He warns Billy that the daughters of Atlas are on their way to confront him and his siblings. Startled, Billy awakens in the middle of the night to discover that Freddy is missing. Unbeknownst to Billy, Freddy spends the night as his superhero alter ego, Captain Everypower, intervening to thwart an armed car robbery. The following day, Anne locates Freddy at school, and they enjoy lunch together. They bond over having assertive siblings, but their conversation is interrupted when Billy approaches, insisting on speaking with Freddy. Billy informs him about the wizard's warning and insists that Freddy promised to attend a family meeting at the Rock of Eternity after school. In their hideout, Mary, Pedro, Eugene, and Darla gather as Billy calls for a meeting, but Freddy is notably absent. Billy recounts his dream and provides information about the daughters of Athena. The group is shocked to learn that the staff was present there, and Billy admits that he left the broken pieces behind in the ruined fairground after using it to grant them their powers. Realizing their lack of knowledge about the sisters, Pedro reveals a secret library within the Rock of Eternity, accompanied by a magical and knowledgeable pen named Steve. Utilizing Steve's vast knowledge, they inquire about Atlas' daughters. Meanwhile, Freddy takes Anne to the rooftop of their school to spend time together. In an attempt to impress her, Freddy suggests introducing her to his friend, Captain Everypower. As he seemingly leaves to make the introduction, Captain Everypower appears before Anne. Back at the lair, Steve assists the Shazamoli in uncovering the necessary information, including details about the sisters' powers. Suddenly, they realize that Atlas had 3 daughters instead of 2, Hespera, Kalypso, and Anthea. Billy comes to the realization that Freddy's newfound friend is indeed one of the 3 sisters. Anne engages in conversation with Freddy/Captain Everypower, expressing her concern about his involvement and not wanting him to get mixed up in the situation. Suddenly, Hespera and Kalypso arrive and launch an attack on the superhero. Hespera employs the wizard's staff, draining his powers and reverting him back to his teenage form. Anthea is taken aback by this development, and Freddy realizes that he can no longer transform into his superhero alter ego. Billy swoops in to provide assistance, but Anthea employs her own powers to manipulate reality, preventing him from getting close. As the other siblings arrive on the scene, Hespera threatens Freddy's life should they attempt to intervene. She tears the rooftop from the building and carries it away, with the siblings aboard, while Billy, unable to stand idly by, gives chase. However, before he can reach them, Hespera creates an impenetrable force field enveloping the entire city, trapping Shazam and the rest of the siblings inside, while the sisters make their escape with Freddy. Freddy awakens in the prison within the realm of the gods, where he finds himself alongside the wizard. At the Rock of Eternity, the Shazamoli deliberates on their course of action. They decide to attempt negotiation with the daughters, offering their own powers in exchange for Freddy's freedom. However, their true plan is to capture one of the sisters and utilize them as leverage. They enlist Steve's help in drafting the letter to be sent. The daughters summon Freddy and the wizard before them. They interrogate Freddy about the other heroes, inquiring whether they are also children and demanding their names. Refusing to cooperate, Freddy resists Kalypso's mind control attempts, although he accidentally reveals one name, Billy Batson. Before Kalypso can proceed further, the letter arrives, and Hespera orders her to cease. Although the letter primarily contains the siblings' internal discussions, it offers their powers in exchange for Freddy's release. However, Kalypso and Hespera remain skeptical, unwilling to trust the humans. Against Anthea's objections, they order Freddy and the wizard to be disposed of. The two are cast into a pit inhabited by Ladon, a dragon that instills fear in its victims before killing them. Yet, they are saved by Anthea, who leads them to a labyrinth and provides directions for their escape back to the mortal realm. Hespera confronts Shazam, revealing her knowledge of his true identity. She claims that the wizard had stolen the powers of the gods from her father, and they seek to reclaim them. The siblings attempt to ambush Hespera, but Kalypso employs the staff to steal Pedro's powers, with Hespera nearly taking the lives of Mary and Darla to coerce Billy's surrender. However, Billy manages to overpower her, and they bring her back as a captive to the Rock of Eternity, utilizing their magical doors. Preparing to send another letter to Kalypso, the Shazamoli discovers that Hespera has escaped, taking an apple figurine from the secret library and retreating through one of the many magic doors within the lair. Freddy and the wizard follow the labyrinth's directions and find a door, hiding as Hespera emerges with the figurine. The wizard recognizes it as an apple containing a seed for the Tree of Life. The daughters debate its use, with Hespera and Anthea seeking to heal their realm, while Kalypso is driven by vengeance and desires to destroy the mortal realm instead. Freddy sneaks into the throne room and reclaims the apple figurine but is discovered. The Shazamoli traverses through the magic doors to rescue Freddy and the wizard, yet Kalypso seizes the staff from Hespera and releases Ladon to pursue them as they make their way back to Earth. The superhero siblings, still in their heroic forms, rush back to the Vasquez home to evacuate their foster parents, Victor and Rosa. They reveal their true identities to them, and soon after, the dragon arrives to destroy the house. They escape and fly to a nearby junkyard, but Kalypso, riding the giant beast, manages to steal Eugene and Darla's powers. Mary attempts to protect the apple figurine, but Kalypso uses her powers to strip Mary of her abilities in midair. Shazam is forced to let Kalypso take the apple while he saves Mary. Kalypso flies to a baseball stadium and plants the seed from the apple, causing the corrupted Tree of Life to spring to life. Its roots take hold of Philadelphia, and mythical monsters emerge from it, attacking the helpless population. Anthea, horrified by her sister's actions, finds the family observing the devastation. She confesses to Freddy that she truly has feelings for him and sets out to persuade Hespera to reign in Kalypso. Meanwhile, Billy, feeling desperate and uncertain, asks the wizard to reclaim the powers of Shazam and become the champion once again. The wizard explains that the power no longer belongs to him but to Billy, assuring him that he can find a way to triumph. Inspired, Billy devises a plan. He asks the rest of the family to find a way to draw the monsters away from the stadium so that he can confront the dragon. Before he departs, Rosa asks to see her son in his true form. Billy transforms into Shazam, and they share a heartfelt embrace. Rosa assures him that he will always have a place in their home and family. Empowered as Shazam, Billy takes off to face the impending challenges. Hespera, disgusted by Kalypso's deadly fanaticism, orders her to stand down. In response, Kalypso fatally impales her older sister and uses the staff and her powers to make Anthea mortal, so she can die alongside the humans. The family drives through the city, attempting to halt the rampage of the monsters, but they find themselves vastly outnumbered. Darla brings along Steve, the magical pen from the Rock of Eternity, and asks him about the monsters' fears. Steve reveals that they fear the king of beasts, unicorns. The wizard informs them that contrary to popular tales, unicorns are dark and vicious creatures that can only be defeated with ambrosia. The siblings and the wizard leave the van in search of unicorns, but Freddy notices Anthea wandering amidst the chaos and decides to follow her. Billy encounters Kalypso and Layden and engages them in a battle, but Layden's fire damages his suit, forcing him to retreat. Shazam attempts to use his lightning against Kalypso, but the force field amplifies it and the staff absorbs the energy. Faced with the threat of Layden's continued rampage, Shazam retreats for the time being. The siblings, led by Darla, come across a group of unicorns and manage to win their loyalty by offering Skittles candy. Riding the unicorns, they charge into the battle and drive the monsters to the outskirts of the city. Shazam discovers Hespera, barely clinging to life, and inquires if overloading the staff with lightning could kill the dragon. Hespera confirms that it would, but it would also result in the destruction of everything within the force field. Layden and Kalypso locate Anthea amidst a crowd of civilians and attempt to kill her as the city residents flee. Freddy locates her and fights against the dragon's fear-inducing powers to reach Anthea. In the face of their imminent demise, Shazam arrives and manages to take hold of the staff, luring Kalypso and the dragon back to the baseball stadium. Upon their arrival, Hespera uses her powers to shrink the force field, enclosing only the stadium within its confines. Kalypso becomes furious and attempts to break free. Meanwhile, Billy finds Victor, Rosa, Anthea, and Freddy near the edge of the force field. He expresses his readiness to do whatever it takes to protect his family and bids them farewell. Billy enters the stadium to confront Kalypso and Layden. Shazam hurls lightning bolts repeatedly at the force field, generating an electrical storm that charges the staff with energy. He manages to hold off the dragon and flies directly through its fire breath as the staff becomes overloaded. Shazam utters the word of the champion, and the lightning bolt causes the staff to explode, resulting in the deaths of Kalypso and Layden. The explosion also disintegrates the corrupted tree of life, eliminating all the monsters. Moments later, Hespera succumbs to her wounds, causing the force field to dissipate. The family searches for Billy, with Freddy discovering his teenage form lifeless amidst the ruins. Freddy is devastated by the loss of his best friend, and the family mourns their loss. Anthea remarks that Billy proved to be a true god and hero in the end. The wizard requests for him to be laid to rest as such, and they carry his body back to the realm of the gods as a final tribute. After Billy's burial, Darla wonders if magic will ever return to the world, but the wizard explains that the staff is now powerless and can only be restored by a god. Just then, Diana of Themyscira, the daughter of Zeus, appears. Using her divine abilities, she recharges the staff and revives Billy, returning him to his Shazam form with his powers intact. Shazam, feeling a bit awkward, musters the courage to ask Wonder Woman on a date, but she advises him to focus on saving the world. Billy is joyfully reunited with his family, and he uses the staff to restore their powers as well. In the following days, the family works together to rebuild their house and enjoy dinners as a united family. Anthea decides to stay in the mortal realm to be with Freddy. The wizard, who has undergone a transformation, arrives to retrieve the staff for safekeeping and bids them farewell, relishing in his newfound freedom. Before leaving, Billy asks the wizard what his superhero name should be, as he never settled on one. The wizard reveals that it is Shazam, although Freddy suggests they can find a better name. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this movie and found it entertaining. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel for more movies like this.